Kidding me?
No.
I think the city would give us an attaboy if we mowed.
They don't give any attaboys.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't sue us or
anything.
anything.
Own it?
I think the city owns it. They must if they condemned it and tore it down.
Yeah.
No, they don't have to. I mean,
there's no sign up or anything.
Hello, America. We've taken Landlord's Journal on the road today. We're doing some field work at one of our assets in our town. This is a duplex. How long have we had this duplex here, John?
It was a year and just about a week ago. A year a week ago.
A year a week ago. We have a duplex property. How did we find this? A realtor.
A realtor.
This is not usual for us.
Yeah, it's not usual. We usually find our properties via our own resources, but this one we actually went to a realtor and found. We paid. What did we pay for it?
We paid. I'm thinking 12.
Yeah, $12,000.
I was thinking 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had at the time we calculated a double-digit cap rate. I think it was in the 20-25% range.
We paid for this outright, and we
put some work in it. We hired a property manager right off the bat. This property is in a high crime area. It's probably one of the worst streets in our area.
That car's already had the hubcap stolen off of it while we were sitting here.
See,
that's the
even
deal.
While we sat here, we just shut up. That's my car. But we had to do this retake here.
But we had to do them, and the goal of this was we did this renewal for primarily to let the city know that we were taking care of the property and it was not turning into a crack house. You know, a landlord was just letting the place go and that kind of thing. So we kind of primarily did the wall for the city to let them know that we were, you know, taking care of the house, so on and so forth, because the house next door was the subject of an investigation because the owner was involved in drugs and all that kind of thing. So it was in the process of being, and as you can see, it's been condemned. It's not there anymore, and that was a big problem.
It was more than condemned. It was torn down.
So in order for them to stay off of our backs and not lead them to believe that we were headed down the same road, we immediately, upon her advice, which I'm glad we took, it was, you know, not cheap, I'm glad we took it, we built a wall, did a few things around the house to let them know that we were trying to improve the value and, you know, that we're going to take care of it and blah, 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 blah. So, again, this house is in a high crime area, so there's a lot of, you know, they've looked at, they're more...
I think the reputation...
They look at things more...
The reputation is worse than reality, though. I mean, most of these lawns are mowed. I mean, there's not a lot of crappy houses. There are a few crappy houses, but it could be worse.
And the traffic is very low today. You don't see, and that's why I'm being kind of candid, because no one's out here.
No one's out.
But usually there's a lot. I don't know if it's the day. We're never usually here on Sunday.
Weather.
Today's Sunday.
Sunday morning.
But
well,
we're usually not here. Yeah. So maybe everyone's still in bed. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
so what's the reason for our visit today?
Well, we're doing some rehab on the second unit. We're rehabbing the inside. We had some water damage over the winter because of a utility. And the funny thing is, the heat was on before we had the heat on, and the water pipe burst and caused some damage to the unit. So of course we can't get in because we don't have a key. We're going to look through the windows and trespass.
What do you think is there a value in visiting your properties?
Yes, yeah. You want to make sure that they're not, yeah, I'm all for inspections and visiting and making site visits and all that kind of thing, which I know we debate about that, but yeah, I definitely agree, because I mean, this is very welcome. People could be squatting in here, which we have a property manager. I mean, she wouldn't let something like that happen, but you know, you want to keep, I like visiting and making sure everything's okay and making sure someone's squatting, it's not turning into a drug house or as you can see, the grass needs cut. I mean, that's going to affect.
I agree.
I mean, we're thinking about. John mentioned cutting that over there.
It's only going to get worse.
I think it's probably a good idea.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm totally on board with that.
That would help us.
Okay, well that sounds good. We'll pause here for a minute and we'll be back shortly.
Sort of freaked out about it.
They haven't done anything. Look at that rotten wood there.
Have they? Did they fix that wall? Is that wall new?
Yeah, the wall is new. That was all.
That was torn down.
That was all.
Okay, but they haven't. I can't tell if they fixed that wood.
What wall was torn down?
That torn down just went over here. It was.
You see that rotten woodwork over there?
Yes.
We have. Me and John. We have that. We have that kind of woodwork at our house, and we have some pieces that would work there to refix that.
I don't think you can't see through the window, can you?
You mean for this purpose of this? Not really. It's very poor, but I'm just sort of recording it for our posterity more than anything, just so not for broadcast, but so that I can present my disgust with the paint. And I know it's not done, but what if somebody wanted to move in?
Yeah. I know.
It's on a separate section. I'm not.
Oh, this has gotten worse.
What's that?
That's mowing.
Well, by the way, we paid for it to be fixed.
What's fixed?
Then if that's worse, then there's a reason.
Maybe so.
What is that? Water?
Yes,
Water, yeah.
that was this has hidden gutters, remember, and we paid to have that fixed.
Are the gutters supposed to be fixed?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the hidden gutter, which means there isn't a gutter. It's just a valley at the top edge.
Mentioned about the gutters, Bob.
I'm live. I'm recording right now.
Maybe an asset we can use somewhere else sometime.
No, not worth the. We'd never.
Them out of there.
The transportation would kill us.
Now, okay, so that looks better than it did the last time I was here.
That's good.
There was a gaping hole in the floor.
You think?
They do have. Okay, yeah. Things are improved. Have improved. The paint job is still a little to be desired in the front room. But
This looks good.
this looks good. It just, yeah, it's. Credit card it.
We could on the front, not on the back. I don't want to do it.
Don't want to show people. We
Yep,
can do it.
exactly. Wow. This doesn't look
This
familiar.
guy here, remember we had this, we had the guy come and cut the shit out.
Looks,
Stuff.
it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
I hadn't been back here. We'd driven by, and at the time he wasn't finished. This video is going to look horrible.
We just need a chain link repair job.
And that's exactly what we need. And you know what I didn't realize? It's not as big a deal. See what they've done? Somebody's done there.
Yeah.
So important. We've got to do that. We've got to make that permanent. We got to put something up there.
We need to have
That's poison there.
Craigslist chain linker come out or something.
I'm gonna post. I'll post something today. That's a great idea.
We take a picture of what we need fixed for you to post on that Craigslist.
No, we'll just say, "Can you do it?" And
Yeah.
we don't need a picture.
Okay.
I think it's.
Chain link repair.
Yep.
They could put a couple of gates. They could put a gate there.
Yeah, because if we're not careful, that'll become a driveway.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. As you remember when we bought this
Cars.
house, there was a car sitting there.
Yeah.
That was a toxic asset.
How did we get rid of that?
There's a
It
toxic.
disappeared.
It's just, I don't know if
There's a toxic asset.
What?
All that shit on the back porch.
And that's another
the
reason to have
neighbors.
Yeah, I'm talking about the
That's our
stuff on
tenants.
hers.
tenant?
Yeah.
Our new tenant?
No, yeah, the people.
Current tenant?
Yeah.
Well, that's another reason to have property inspections, because that kind of stuff looks horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it just looks bad.
This looks way better. I'll just tell you, the green of summer makes this look 1,000% better. Now we
looks like it's been cleaned up back here.
we need to clean this up and finish this job, because this shit will grow right. I mean, this is all new growth. This is not stuff he left. This is all brand new growth.
He had this blade back here.
And so we've got to aggressively, whoever mows is going to need to cut that out. What we also need to do is we need to consider.
She's been having somebody, and then we've been having somebody. Just whoever we can get.
We need to make sure that whoever's doing it. Quite frankly, I know it's not.
Did you notice they made their own barrier?
No.
Why don't we walk over there and start talking about it?
Okay.
All right.
I'm thinking about purchasing the lot next door to the property. Right.
And why is that?
Well, we want to control it, so someone else, just to control the lot, so someone else doesn't put something up and turn into a crap bin, or
Of course, if somebody builds something on it, it's probably going to increase our value.
Not. But we could use it just to control it. Maybe put.
Well, mainly because we anticipate that it may be cheap now,
Right.
and I think you'll be surprised.
Be interested Nobody else wants it. As far as.
But this is a huge lot.
Yeah.
It's a huge lot.
It's deep. It's
and in
not
this neighborhood, they've been known to put duplexes and triplexes.
There is some new construction. There has been new construction in the last 10 years
There has
down
been.
the street.
There has been.
And there's some very nice little duplexes and quadplexes within like a 3-block range of here. So it's zone. I mean, they got zoning for it.
There is zoning for it, and it's in the city. And again, this is in a high crime area. This is a high crime area, but I think it's improving. Even our property manager has said it's improved somewhat.
Yeah.
And I see even today. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's the time or
But you can
or
look
what.
at the yards. The yards are taken care of. There's not a lot of crappy yards.
And you wouldn't
Except
think,
ours.
You wouldn't
Except
think, except
in this one, yeah, except ours.
But you wouldn't think that that it would be.
See, that's newer construction right there. Or
Exactly.
They
See
rehabbed
that?
it
Look at
completely.
that.
Look at that one.
That's a newer construction.
I mean, that's
That's a
newer
duplex.
construction. That's a perfect example.
That's a duplex.
Love to have that here, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
What I mean,
exactly.
picture that over here. If we could get this lot for whatever, but you'd almost have to do them like sideways.
Yeah, that
We could
that
build something
particular
like-
layout won't work in this
I
lot,
just wanted
but
to show that new construction
could do it.
exists.
Can you-
that it
You could do
exists
it
in this
this way
neighborhood.
and put a sidewalk up.
Yeah, can you do it that way? I don't know what the requirements would.
yeah, I don't know what the offset. I don't know what the offset
But
restrictions are. I don't know.
the point being, this would be a nice. I think if we could get it cheap enough, this would be nice to have for future development. Because we talked about having land for future development. We wanted to do some development, so I think this would be a nice piece of property to get cheap. And this neighborhood has been bad for years and years and years and years and years. But I mean, there's new construction here. There's some down the road, and the police are really working in this area. I'm thinking it might be getting cleaned up a little bit. I mean,
Well, this is a big path of access for whatever too. It'd be nice to take this access off, and that would only help the neighborhood too.
We know that the city. It was part of the city cleanup project to tear that house down, which leads me to believe the city owns this lot. Would you imagine?
I'm pretty sure they do. Can we get Elaine to look at that?
They might.
we can't. I'll ask.
Well, actually, we can just check the property records. Who would own it? Most likely is not the city. It would be the head co.
And there's probably a lien against it for tearing down the building. I don't know. The city might not have a lien against
Right. You'd have to pay.
billing for what they did here.
Right. You'd have to pay. We probably couldn't get it for $1,000. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
You make an offer,
Who knows
they
how
might.
Right.
Who knows how that went?
I mean, I know in our city, a lot of things they're taking a lot of properties and putting it into a land bank.
There's I think
Right, and that's the head co. Huntington Area Development.
for tearing down.
I don't know.
Pardon?
How our city has this project where they're targeting, and they have a plan for tearing down vacant toxic vacant houses I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're acquiring the properties or.
I don't know the
some
mechanics
kind of a
on
grant that for tearing them down, and
Yeah,
then I don't know if they would want to recoup that.
that's a good question.
Well, I think they're more interested in development. I don't think they're
Okay.
That's why I think they're putting it in this. Some of this they're taking. I believe they're in the position with proper development to take losses. I don't think necessarily a one-to-one recuperation is required.
I think it may be there may have been a grant.
Yeah, well, there is some of that. There's some rule changes that had to take place that in the legislature, and this is a pilot program. Huntington and one other city, and they're trying to do a couple different things. One of them made it through, and one of them didn't, because for the longest time the city didn't have a lot of rights on. They could condemn things, but they couldn't take ownership.
I see. Well, I think it's worth investigating and at least getting informed about those rules and about what's going on.
Yep. So back to our what we actually own. We have.
Take all that crap down. I mean, gosh, we could build a new fence. We could make this look like a really nice.
Well, what I would do with that is, obviously the best thing would be to build something, but second best to that would be to make some parking so that we had a distinct yard and a distinct parking area so people don't have to park on the street if they don't want to. You wouldn't have to use much of this property, and the good thing about parking is you can make it contingent. This is parking now until we are ready to build, and at such time then you'll have to return to street parking. As long as you let people know that up front, you didn't rent it. You didn't rent it to someone that's going to stay for a long time, and they think that it's going to be there forever, and it's not. I wouldn't have any problems with that, and I think it would be a selling point for the renter.
These two lots are big. You could do like in Cerrito, have a big 10-unit apartment, tear this down, and then just build a big massive apartment. I'm not saying we do that, but I'm saying the lot's big enough to support. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that, but
I'm twitching.
maybe have like 4 duplexes, you know, but not. Yeah, I'm not advocating that. I'm saying the lot is big. You know, the lot is really big. Yeah.
Okay.
They put siding on that house. I mean, these houses don't look too big to be 9 Avenue. Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't think that it was any worse than 9 Avenue. Yeah. I mean, it looks decent.
Can you tell the difference after we had a pressure washed?
Yes. I didn't before. I don't know why I couldn't before, but I can tell the difference now. I can see. Now, the part that confuses me is right there next to the door. That looks dirty. It looks like it could be cleaner there. But the top looks like it's better. So, yeah, why don't we, I think, for all intents and purposes, we've gotten everything we needed to get here, haven't we?
What do we need to approach our property manager about is doing the construction? We have to
Find out where we stand here.
Yeah, we definitely need to know that.
Yeah.
And our helicopter's here, so
our helicopter's here.
That's not ours. I don't want it to you. I don't want any rides in that helicopter.
to take us to our next property.
That helicopter, we don't want any rides in.
That'd be
So it might be good to take some pictures of what it looks like now.
Okay.
Hello, America. We are at our next property that we're visiting today. This is another rehab. We just purchased this one recently, in the last 6 weeks or so, less than that actually. And quite a bit of work has been done on the house. What we're doing today is admiring the new paint job, which makes this place look so much better. More neutral color. America, don't paint your rentals orange or green.
This house was bright. This room
Neutral.
was bright orange before.
You have to have a neutral color to rent or sell. And what I really wanted to take photos or video of, rather, is the floors. We're going to have our floors sanded, hopefully this week.
But we did not. This paint was from before we got here. This is not a result of the new paint job. This had carpet on it.
This is carpet, and I love it without the carpet. And we all think that the floors will sand up really nice. but I wanted us to have documentation of what it looks like now, so that we could come back later, even with other properties and say, oh, remember what those floors look like on that other house. And then, what else? We're gonna have dishwasher installed. It's only a 2-bedroom, but we're gonna try for $850. See what happens with it, because it's in a desirable location. It's got a lot of room around it, at least 2. You know, we own that lot over there, don't we? So it's got plenty of parking here.
Was it, there was
Central heat and air that works for us.
There was something there. What do we pay for this place, John?
35.
35.
And what will we have in it by the time we bring it online?
42.5. 42.5 is our budget.
42.5.
Yeah, that's just we're way under that already. What else do we have to do?
We've got the floor. We've got the septic.
Septic.
That was-
Septic is a big unknown
That's
for us
what
right now.
That's a wild card.
That's a big wild card.
That's what's going to
We
make
could get lucky and it not be anything, but we don't know yet. So we're hoping to have somebody come out this week and look at it.
I'm going to say that $2,000 and put it down to those.
There you go.